Pooja, who is the phaco-refractive surgeon, a very young and dynamic surgeon and very good student. She is currently working at the Vision Eye Center and the CKI Institute, and she has got her education from DY Patil Medical College, Mumbai. And she has also done clinical research fellowship from Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, USA, and Narayana Nethralaya, Bangalore, India. So over to you, Pooja, who is bubbling with energy and very good in already showing interest in academics. Over to you.
Thank you so much. In the onset, I would like to welcome and I would like to thank the scientific panel committee for allowing me to have such a presentation at such an important topic and inspire those people who are trying to write a good abstract. So, as we all know, the main important things that are required is aims, methods, results, and conclusion. But we need to make sure that these make a first and lasting impression on the result, on the viewers and the readers who are trying to read the abstract. It is always important that you make your abstract specifically for you attract your readers and bring attention to their study. In case for a sample size, it is important to be representative of the population. For example, if you're doing a study in the refractive population, if you're doing it in terms of myopia, then you should make sure and keep in mind that myopia sample size should be not less than 500 to 1000 because of the massive size and population ratio. But in case if you're doing in pathological myopia, keeping a sample size of around 150, 100 is acceptable because the percentage of pathological myopia that you see in a common OPD is much less. So this will bring impact to your study. For in regards to methodology, always do a proper literature review. Look into similar papers to see what preference practice about choosing a methodology is. Make sure inclusion and exclusion criteria should not be vague, and try removing as many biases as possible to make it a strong abstract. For example, if you're doing a surgical review and you're doing a paper, then you have to make sure that how many surgeons are practicing and not make it vague that there were a number of surgeons doing the surgery and they were included in an abstract. You should make sure that there was one surgeon or two surgeons. Don't make it crisp and abstract so everyone can understand what you're trying to put across. You should always remember the result should be in sync with the hypothesis, whether it may be positive or negative. There is no particular thing that it has to be a positive result or a negative result. In conclusion, limitations should be mentioned. The objective of your abstract has to be in accordance with your abstract. Do not forget to emphasize the most important findings of your study. So in general, in the gist, what is the difference between a good abstract and a bad abstract? The length of the abstract, should be good enough to give the readers good information. Proper summarization, distinct points of aims, methods, results, and conclusions should be mentioned. In the content, it should be important and keeping in mind it's stressing on the important points and main findings. Not having focusing point makes it a bad abstract. It should be written according to the format of the journal you plan to submit it in. You should make sure that you know which journal you're planning to submit it in so that, when you're sitting and making the abstract, you're not making a vague abstract and you're going according to what the terms and conditions of the journal are. Make sure, it is clear and with no grammatical errors. And in conclusion, as I said earlier, you should emphasize on the main important findings of your study. At the end, you should not stress about it. Just be calm and write an abstract and you'll definitely do wonders. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. Rajesh, would you like to discuss this presentation, please?
Yeah, sure. It was nice and crisp, Pooja. Nice presentation. And she highlighted some of the points which were not covered. One thing which she mentioned was about inclusion and exclusion criteria. And that is something about which many people make an error. Like suppose you are doing a study on cross-linking on keratoconus. And so your cohort is keratoconus. So you cannot say that in exclusion criteria that you will exclude cases not having keratoconus. Rather, in exclusion criteria, you will write that you will exclude patients of keratoconus not who are having scar. So that is very important, that you have to understand what is the inclusion and exclusion criteria. That you emphasized about inclusion and exclusion. That was good. And of course, apart from that, I think most of the things have been already discussed. Thank you. Good presentation.
Thank you very much, Rajesh.